economy as a whole, the more in debt everyone is, the more enslaved you are, which is one of the reasons why, for example, flow right in from Wednesday, which is our midweek report. And we're going to talk about the skinny bill and the evolution of what's going on and where I think things are going to finally land. I mean, if you really think about it, the time between now and the elections is shrinking one day at a time, but rather rapidly. And so here is the thing. If we can't get the Senate and Congress quickly to an agreement for a stimulus, and, I will tell you this. I have my feelings about this. I know that there are people who really need the stimulus. I also know that there are people who are abusing the stimulus. I know that the stimulus would help, as the first stimulus package definitely did help keep and push our economy along. But I am not a fan of going another $3 trillion into debt, because right now this is all funny money. No one seems to be realizing that this free money or these checks that the government send you to tide you over has to be paid back with interest, which leads me to my Thursday show, where we'll be talking about our ATM edition of the show, which is all about the money. And we're going to be talking a lot about how to get out of debt. Remember, last week I was talking about moving from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3. And we're now in phase 3 from a real estate market. And the point that I want to make very strongly here is that phase 1, you needed to conserve cash, get a real good arm around what your budget, what your expenses are, and basically tighten the hatch down and be ready. Then phase 2 was say, okay, well, now that we've gotten ourselves under control. Remember, there's two economies out there in reality, right? There is the gross economy, and it is gross. It's out there that you have no control of. Then there is your economy, which is the money that comes into your household and the expenses that flow out of your household. So phase 1 was to contract like everybody else in suspended animation, now figure it out so that you make sure that you are budget balanced at least. And there I know there are some people whose income stopped. Those are the ones that I know need the assistance, and I want to help to give that to them. And I hope that what we talk about here on the radio show helps in that regard as well. Phase 2, we talked about, okay, now once you've gotten your budget to where it can be, you've gotten your savings and saved your cash reserves for what may come. Now you got to start educating. That was phase 2. And that's why we talked about the gig economy and how to create, a plan B. And I'm going to start going a little bit more back into the plan B, because I think that's very important moving forward. I think one thing that we have realized is that having a quote unquote secure job isn't so secure anymore. And we have to take it upon ourselves now to be able to control what happens when, the plug gets pulled on the gross economy. What is that going to do to my economy? And does it have to do something to my economy? There are businesses out right now that are flourishing, that are actually growing. And I could tell you a whole bunch. The credit repair business, and one of our sponsors, which is timetofixmycredit.com. Check out that website. They have grown exponentially over the last 7 months, the whole period of the pandemic. We are involved with another product brokerage company, and they have arrived and are just exploding. We have a number of businesses that we could talk about, including real estate. And you know that real estate right now is doing very well. We have a dire shortage of inventory and a extremely high level of demand still, in spite of one of the highest unemployment rates in history. Think about that for a second and understand the value. Real estate is a hard asset. Hard assets do very well when? In times of uncertainty, number one, and in times of inflation, number two. So you got to start thinking about what is it that all the people who are going in and after real estate, the Warren Buffetts of the world, getting out of banking and into real estate. Interesting, right? What is the next new courage, a currency that's coming out there? It's going to be real estate, and to own and control the right real estate, which now think about my comment a little bit earlier in the show about the control that a debtor has, and maybe why it was so ultra easy, if I didn't say it emphatically enough, ultra easy it was to get a forbearance. In other words, allow your creditor to allow you to not make a payment so that the principal and the interest can accrue. And so he basically sets your clock, your freedom, financial freedom clock back. And that's against what we want to do, which is why Thursday, and this Thursday, I really want you to listen to our show. Now, we talk a lot about the debt shredder. And for those of you who missed me announcing it earlier or in our last week, tonight, live, or today we're on Monday, at 9 p.m., I'm going to be doing another presentation. I can't go into all of it during our radio show, our limited time radio show here. But tonight, all you have to do is either send a message at automaticlandlord.com, automaticlandlord.com, or if you're listening to us on YouTube, or if you're listening to us on Facebook, all I want you to do is in the comments say, send me the link to tonight's debt shredder presentation. It's going to be awesome. We got some new updates. We've actually improved the software, and we've improved the delivery method for the software. And so, I think on Thursday we're going to announce, I'm going to let the cat out a little bit out of the bag. We're going to expand our team once more. We had an expansion campaign earlier in the pandemic. We are going to be looking to bring on a couple more people on our debt shredder team, because that's how well things have gone with that. Anyway, I'm going to stop right here for a second. I'm going to take a quick break here, a few words from our sponsors. Of course, the debt shredder is one. I told you about our workshop coming on right after this. And then when we come back, I'm going to kind of round out the theme for this week's radio show, which will be carried through all those different approaches that I mentioned. Our Tuesdays, tools, tips, and techniques, our midweek report on Wednesday, and Thursday are about the money edition. So anyway, don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner, and I will be right back. So I want to welcome, first of all, our listeners who are live here on YouTube. Thanks for coming along, and thanks for supporting. And thank you also for always dropping up, giving us the thumbs up, the likes, and that one, even though that's part of our beta test. Now I want to jump over to our Facebook live group. So I've got this new thing, which is kind of interesting. I'm not exactly sure. When your name comes up, so first of all, Carol, how the heck are you? I haven't seen you in a while, and thanks for joining us on our live presentation. Now, this is The Real Estate Show. I am broadcasting live over AM 1470 and over another 3 FM stations. We've grown our radio show quite a bit. And during the pandemic, I started doing the Facebook Live, both on Facebook and on the YouTube channel. And so a week ago, I was in Duck Key, and somewhere underwater in Duck Key rests my phone. May it rest in place. Anyway, so I have a whole bunch of reprogramming. We were short on cameras, and we're getting our stuff, because now I have different iPads and different stands so that we can get all of the cameras going again. But Adam, welcome. Thanks for watching here. Now on my Facebook Live page, it says, it tells me who's watching, and then it says, bring them on camera. And I have no idea what will happen if I press that button. It allows me to go ahead and wave. So first of all, I want to say hi to John, who I just had dinner with. It's nice to see you on the other side of the camera now. John, who's an amazing person when it comes to real estate. Not only is he an agent, but he can literally build a house from the ground up. My son thinks he walks on water because he can literally, he's like the MacGyver of construction. Then Phil from Georgia. We're getting ready to come back. Mike from California. And we got our Florida crew in there too. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, you are listening and or watching The Real Estate Show. Those of you who have jumped on our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. You don't have to go onto you don't have to have a Facebook page. And Marianne just texted me, and I apologize that because of, I was just starting to explain, because my original phone, let me go on a little tangent here for a second. I had an iPhone 8 Plus. That is the biggest phone there. I need a bigger phone because of my eyesight, because of, it just feels more comfortable. I like a bigger phone. And my 8 Plus, which I've had for a while, I had it, and then when the 10 came out, they skipped the 9, remember? And the 10 came out, there wasn't really a material enough difference for me to upgrade to the 10, so I didn't upgrade then. When the 11 came out, same story. I loved my iPhone 8 Plus, but I had made up my mind about a month or so ago that it's time. It's time to lay the 8 Plus to rest, move forward into the new 12, which I understand has some really cool features. And at this point, like Apple wants me to do, I'm going to have to go out and buy new chargers, new adapters for my car, and all the accessories, the cases, and whatnot. So when you go and you switch phones, it's an investment time. You're going to have to reinvest in all that stuff. So I decided that a month ago, and when the 12 comes out, which tomorrow I understand they're supposed to announce the new iPhone 12. Well, as the old saying goes, you make plans and then God laughs. Last weekend ago, a week ago, I was down in the Keys, and thanks, Ronan. He just told me that my sign needs to be turned around. Let me go through the magic of modern technology. Let me go ahead and flip that around for you, because if you're willing to watch me from California, I'm willing to switch the sign around for you. So thank you, brother. And so in the course of enjoying a really nice weekend down at Hawks Cay Resort, somewhere, and I'm not exactly sure when, I probably accidentally was carrying my phone into the water lounge chair that I was sitting in while we were all kind of hanging around, and it may have fallen in the water. I forgot that I didn't have it. The bottom line is, find my iPhone, can't find it. Nobody can find it. I've called everywhere where I was, and the bottom line is I have been phoneless for a couple of days. And let me tell you, I would rather lose my wallet next time than lose my phone. So in the meantime, I had to pull out of the archives one of my own iPhone 6s, and I had to kind of make a lot of adjustments. So we're at that point there where I still intend to get the iPhone 12, but it's not out yet. So I've got the iPhone 6 has to tie me over, because I don't want to buy a 10 and then immediately sink that money and then get the latest of technology. And yes, I do like the latest of technology. So that's the story on the camera situation. So for each one of our broadcasts, we are using, and I'm very amateur at this. I don't profess to be a techie at all. But what I will do is I will try to learn this stuff. And if anybody has tips and you want to throw them at me, I will take them graciously, because I want to make this the best show, which is why we're doing the beta in YouTube in addition to the Facebook, and having these tools all be a way for me to sort of pass along my 30 plus years of experience here in the real estate business, my 21 plus years of experience in the mortgage business, the 21 of which have been broadcasted here on the radio show. So back to the radio program. Hey, Simone, welcome. I'm going to give you a wave too. And I don't know if that's because, and so Marianne was telling me that she's listening to me on the radio app because she's not hearing. Because of the apps and the way that my phone was set up, my iPhone 8 was on the business website. My 6 is on my personal website. So what I have to do right now is broadcast on my personal and then share it to the business website. It's just not live, but I'll have that fixed very shortly. So bear with me. The good news is that a whole bunch of people who I haven't talked to in a while, who are my friends on Facebook, are getting notifications that Eric's live on the radio on Facebook. And so I've gotten to reconnect with some people over the last few days because of this. And so I don't consider it a loss at all. I look at it all as another positive here on the Real Estate Show, because the more people that I can get listening to the Real Estate Show, learning more about real estate, knowing how to buy better real estate, when to buy better real estate, making better real estate decisions, which ultimately, whether you're an investor or a homeowner, will make you more money when it comes time to sell it as well. So make more money on the buy, make more money on the hold, and on the sell is the name of the game. So here's where I wanted to kind of take this week's theme. And in the relatively limited amount of time, this weekend I got to spend time with a group of entrepreneurs. Something like, hey, Mike, old fraternity brother. See, here's a perfect example of what I was just talking about. Mike used to torture me when I was in college. He was one of the senior fraternity brothers at where I studied at the University of Southern California. And as a result of that, we grew bonds and friendships that I still have today, 30 plus years later. And because I'm broadcasting a couple of my shows now on the personal Facebook, I get to say hello to them. And so, Mike, it's great to see you on there. You know, we always kind of fleetingly pass by on the Facebook, but it's kind of nice to see a live version back and forth. So this last weekend, it was amazing. I was correctly socially distanced in a Zoom conference, which normally packs about, I'm going to say, not less than 5,000 to 10,000 people in an arena. But because of current rules and regulations, they went 100% Zoom live. So what was very cool is they had this virtual wall in the back with all these little screens of people attending the meeting from Taiwan to Malaysia to the United States, coast to coast, California to Florida to New York to Maine. And to watch these very inspirational entrepreneurs, investors talk about, I take feverish notes. I probably had like 22 pages of notes that I was taking, just learning from, other people who have different perspectives. And then I say, if I were to take away one or two really good golden nuggets, well, there were two that I wanted to share, and I'm going to take this through the week as we talk about real estate. Number one is what I call the dash. Now, what is the dash? The dash is, if you've ever looked at a tombstone, right? It always says, Eric Willner, born 3/20/1963, dash. And if today was my last day, it would be 9/15/14 of 2020. The dash in the middle is your life. That's the life that you lived. And the question is, what does that dash represent? Think about that and let that sink in for a second. Because what is your dash? And I'm going to tell you that real estate has the ability to make your dash better, to set your dash free if you want to. And that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of the week. Anyway, the music is coming in. We're out of time. Remember, at 9 o'clock tonight, if you want to attend our free workshop, it's a free workshop about how to pay your mortgage and all of your debts off in less than half the time that you would by paying it as agreed, I'm going to show you that on our Zoom workshop. Just text me right here on our Facebook, on our YouTube, or at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. Text me that you want to attend. I'll send you a link for you to attend tonight's presentation. It's going to be a knockout. It's going to be brand new. It's not anything like what I've done before. So that's it for today. This is Eric Willner signing off for The Real Estate Show. Have a great day. Drive safe, and God bless America. Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.